Tomorrow, the original Stalker trilogy, which consists of Shadow of Chernobyl, Clear Sky, and Call of Pripyat, will be getting enhanced versions, giving us a new and updated way to play the survival RPGs that blew our minds when they initially released. With this update, we have tons of visual improvements, like improved lighting, upscale textures, better skyboxes, and some great advancements on PC like mod support and controller support. It's also going to be coming with that Steam Deck verified badge, and I had a chance to test it out and see if it's really ready for portable play, and I would say it is. So in this video, we'll be going over how the enhanced Stalker trilogy runs on the Steam Deck and our recommendations on how best to play it so far. If you want to see more videos like this, hit that like and subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified as soon as our next video goes live. The game was also recorded on the Steam Deck directly, so your experience may be slightly better than what you're going to see in this video. A copy of the enhanced versions were provided to us by GSC Game World. Thank you. For full transparency, I have only had the keys for the enhanced editions of each games in the trilogy for one day, so a lot of my testing is towards the beginning of the games. I did find a big stress spot to test, but performance may be better or worse in later sections of the games. The new enhanced editions look much better than the originals and feel very refined when playing on a gamepad. Just from the opening in Clear Sky, I could tell the improvements were there when I saw the shadows looking clean and smooth and any graphical inconsistencies were just ironed out. It was like looking at the classic with some new paint over it, and I was loving it. However, these new settings definitely have a hit on performance. But on the bright side, we can still get fantastic quality and high frame rates with some compromises. All the enhanced editions perform around the same at each of the graphical quality presets, so I felt confident about my initial stress test happening in one game, and I chose Clear Sky. The reason I went with Clear Sky is because you start off in this town where the frame rate gets significantly worse than the other two games no matter where you are or what you're looking at, getting drops to around 27 frames per second on the highest quality settings. So my testing was done around this area, and when I was done, I tested on the other games to see if the results were consistent, and they were. When testing every single graphical quality preset in this starting town in Clear Sky, I found some interesting discoveries. With max settings and FSR on native, which is the default, you will get drops under 30 frames per second. If you turn FSR on quality mode and keep max settings, the frame rate will stay between 30 and 40 frames per second. High settings with FSR on quality mode will stay between 40 and 45 frames per second, so a 40 FPS lock would work here. Medium settings with FSR on quality mode stays between 45 and 50 frames per second, so a 45 FPS lock would work here. Medium settings with FSR on balanced would stick around 49 to 55 frames per second, so a 50 frames per second lock should work here in most scenarios. Low settings with FSR on quality mode go above 60 frames per second but under 90, so a 60 FPS lock is doable. Low settings with FSR on performance mode sticks around 70 frames per second. Minimum with FSR on balance mode gets around 90 frames per second. The fluctuations you're seeing right now are due to the recording. Other areas outside of this town perform significantly better, but because I wanted to be prepared for the worst, I decided to figure out the performance in this area first. I also discovered that FSR is quite important here. With it completely disabled, we have this very sharp sparkly effect on all of the bushes and leaves, which can be extremely distracting. FSR enabled fixes this and blurs them out a bit, which cancels the shiny effect that I saw. There's also a very detailed list of advanced graphical settings to change, so we can refine the experience even further. I didn't have the time to play around with the settings and test it out in depth, so I stuck with the presets for this, but I'm sure we can maximize our quality with the right combination. With both of these in mind, I enjoyed trying to stick to 45 frames per second with medium quality settings and FSR on quality mode. The game still looks great on medium settings, and FSR being on gets rid of that shiny effect. It also caps battery drain in many other areas that aren't so demanding, which can increase battery life and how long we can play on the go. This was my favorite way to experience the game. It looks good and it feels smooth. Controller support also works wonders here. It feels so much more natural to play now, and I can't see myself going back to the old controls that relied on the mouse cursor, even if the performance is better. The only problem that I didn't figure out at the time was how to throw bolts. I ended up figuring it out by bringing up the weapon wheel, but it felt so much more natural to manage inventory, aim, shoot, explore, and just deal with all the UI. Overall, I would consider this a necessary improvement on the originals. The graphical upgrades iron out a lot of the kinks with the original releases, while controller support is a necessity. It is playable on the Steam Deck and very malleable thanks to the very detailed list of all the settings that can be changed. I preferred to play at 45 frames per second with decent quality since the visual changes are a big part of the enhanced editions, but regardless, I can say this version of the game is well worth playing on the Steam Deck, and I highly recommend it. The Stalker Legend of the Zone Trilogy's enhanced editions will be available tomorrow and will be free for those who already own the original versions. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like and subscribe button and hit the notification bell to be notified as soon as our next video goes live. And a huge thank you to our patrons. You guys are awesome. See you next time.